feels so good to be back here sitting in this spot filming a YouTube video. I feel a little bit out of my element because I've taken off. I think it's been a month and a half, maybe almost 2 months at this point. If you follow me on Instagram, and you may have seen my post where I shared back in the fall of 2025, I found out I had papillary thyroid cancer. And this January, right at the top of the new year, I had surgery to remove part of my thyroid and the cancer. I was a little, not nervous, but just unsure about sharing my experience at all. I'm so fortunate that papillary thyroid cancer is literally what my doctor referred to as the good cancer. It is that treatable, and the prognosis is pretty much 100%. So like I was saying, I wasn't sure if I was even going to share about it because I feel so lucky to have ended up with having such a curable cancer. And I know that especially right now, there are so many other people to be worrying about, many other just things to be weighing heavy on people's minds. I didn't want to cause worry for people that don't need the extra worry right now. There's a lot of other people to worry about. And especially since I've had my surgery, there certainly is more in the world to worry about right now. But I kind of changed my mind on that. I do feel like it's a good reminder to check on your health. I know for myself, I had been using my OB as my primary care physician for the last 5 years since having babies, which is important too, but it wasn't getting the full picture of my health. So make those doctor's appointments, do whatever you got to do to take care of yourself. I'm doing pretty well in recovery. You can see my scar here. I actually feel like it looks all right. I think I'm almost 4 weeks post-op now. Recovery has gone well, but it was a lot harder than I expected. I kind of just expected to be down for maybe like a week, but it took me longer than I expected to fully come back. And honestly, I still don't really fully feel like myself yet. And my voice gets really tired and weak easily, but I'm happy to be back. If you're interested to know any more about my diagnosis, my surgery, my recovery, I'm more than willing to answer any questions. I'm very much a person that likes to share information. So please reach out to me in the comments. You can send me an Instagram DM. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I haven't really been able to do any thrifting or sewing because my energy levels have been pretty low. So I'm anxious to get back to the thrift today. Most of my thrift trips, I like to keep them pretty open-ended because I like to just see what the thrift store brings to me. But lately there's been one very specific trend, I guess, that is just taking over my Pinterest. I would describe my style as kind of like 70s boho inspired, but in a pretty classic way. I like to have like funky, cool pieces that feel wearable. But for some reason lately, I've had a total shifted interest toward 90s Y2k athleisure. There's something that's been kind of a budding part of my fashion interest and just style in general over the last few years. But I'm really craving a full send this year, especially for spring. There's something so effortless and chic about these looks. And as a mom, it really speaks to me because they're comfortable and you can move in them, but there's still some form and interest in the pieces that keep them feminine and almost sexy in a way. Looking at my inspo pictures, I notice a lot of flare, bootleg, or even straight leg cuts to the bottoms, mostly mid to low rise. The tops are usually fitted, but not skin tight, and typically a color or something with some sort of small graphic or sporty striping to them. And then for shoes, I like the idea of not doing a sneaker. I feel like it leans too far into the athletic part of this. And I pinned a lot of outfits with flip-flops and ballet flats, which I think suits my style a little bit better. I also like the idea of picking a denim style and silhouette that kind of matches the relaxed fit of like the track pants. And then a really simple top or t-shirt, understyled, but maybe a pop of interest or a pop of color, like a cool pair of cowboy boots or a scarf or earrings. Sunglasses are also kind of like a critical part of this outfit. The classic 90s oval shaped glasses with a super low profile to them, which is funny because it's so different from the style of sunglasses I have been collecting over the last couple of years, I've been really into like the big 70s, almost bug eye kind of glasses with different tones and colors and even patterns to them. I actually think that those would still go so cute with these outfits, like as a way to reflect me. But I don't own any glasses like that. So I think it'd be fun to see if I can find some. I feel like it'd be kind of easy to find, but I don't know. So some things I'm looking for. Definitely track pants or some sort of like vintage leggings or sweatpants, preferably vintage Y2k 90s with a straight leg boot cut or flare silhouette. Capris are obviously also kind of a staple for this aesthetic, which capris are always on my list anyway. I'm also gonna check the denim section just for, like I said, more flare boot cut style denim. Maybe in a size up from my normal size, just because I want more of like an effortless fit to the denim. Fitted, but not skin tight tops, and not even necessarily athletic tops, although bonus points if they have sort of like a sporty to them. I would love to find a Gap hoodie, like a true old school Gap hoodie with the embroidered Gap logo on it. I had one last year. It was white with navy blue, like, you know, Gap letters, varsity letters, whatever you call them, and I stained it. So gonna be looking for that, but also gonna be looking for zip up sweaters with a hood that are a little bit more fitted, again with that sort of like fitted but not skin tight silhouette. I have one rib knit blue zip up hoodie. Why did I say that so fragmented? Something about that type of piece really feels right on the money with like the Y2k sporty girl vibe, which I do still want to keep myself in mind when I'm picking out these pieces. And what I mean by that is I don't want to just like lean into any of the Pinterest inspiration too hard. I really want to stay true to my own style. And so I think for me, where that's going to really come into play is with the accessories and looking for jewelry, earrings or necklaces, maybe even some bangles or some cool rings that still express my personal style, but still fit the aesthetic. Same thing with shoes. Like I said, I'm going to be looking for ballet flats, flip-flops. I'm going to look at the sunglasses, obviously. And probably the bags too. I feel like a good bag could actually be a really good way to be expressive in these outfits as well. So maybe I'll find something I need. One thing that's extremely important to me for this trend is that it goes really well with my favorite hairstyle, which is a messy bun. When I was maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, I was so obsessed with getting my messy bun to look so perfect. And my cousin Erin used to do the perfect messy bun. And so anytime we were at family events, I would beg her to put my hair in a messy bun. And then I would like sleep on it for days because it was so perfect. So anyway, I'm gonna be putting my hair into a messy bun today. If you don't care about this, you could skip to the thrifting, but I just figured I'd share how I do it because I have been asked before, okay? I have been asked. So usually what I do is split my hair into two separate sections, a top section and a bottom section. And I'll just like grab a bunch of hair and make two separate buns that merge together like this. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. But today I kind of want to try how I used to do it, like when I was a kid, just to see if I like it better, because that way it does take a little bit of time. It's kind of a pain to get out. So I would put my hair in what I would call a floppy bun, just like where you fold the hair in half like that. I like my bun to sit right maybe 2 inches under the apex of my head. I like to make sure that this is really nice and secure. It doesn't feel like it's gonna fall out. Grab just part of the elastic and flip it back like this. So you kind of fold that half in half. I'll just kind of like pull it apart, go in and add another elastic like this. And then it definitely takes some zhuzhing and just like getting it still looking messy, but you want it to look like this. This is my favorite side. This one's doing okay. But yeah, something about having a little messy bun like this feels very spot on to this aesthetic. It's getting me in the vibe. It's getting me in the mood. Okay, let's get to the thrift store. I'm really excited to get out there because it's been a while. So let's go.
For the second thrift trip, I decided to focus on jeans as opposed to the track pants, which I just wasn't having any luck finding. Found these Gap denim boy fit carpenter style jeans, which I thought were really cool, but not my size. These were definitely more of what I was looking for, a true Y2k flared jean. When I look through the denim, I really am just trying to pay attention to branding and also the wash of jean before I pull anything out. I found these Levi's 550s. They're a classic 90s wash and just style of denim, but I'm really looking for more of a flare or a boot cut. Then I found these drawstring linen pants that I did a bad job of showing, but they have a cargo style to them, and it just reminded me that cargo style pants, like lightweight cargos, would be so cute to thrift for this aesthetic as well. Okay, so I know that Lobos means wolves, so I'm assuming that this is some sort of team. I'll have to look up what it is, but this really stood out to me for the color and also just the simplicity of the design. And it's definitely vintage or 90s with that JanSport tag. I liked the idea of this so much. I love that it's a gray and sort of an off-white or cream instead of a black and white. Just feels a little different. I wasn't sure about the cut, so I knew I was gonna have to try it on. This was the best I could find in the t-shirt section when it comes to vintage baby tee style tops. They weren't terrible, but they're pretty limited and nothing that was too stand out to me. Then I decided to peruse the cardigans and sweaters for any zip-up style fitted hoodies, and I was open to the idea of just a classic cardigan in general. That is definitely a closet staple I have neglected to collect for myself. I think it's just maybe a little too boring to thrift or shop for some reason, but I was honestly hitting the bottom of my thrift wish list at this point, so I gave it a shot. Unfortunately, the one cardigan I found I really liked was Brandy Melville, and the price was insane for it. I also forgot to mention this earlier, but I found these Abercrombie & Fitch 90s ultra high rise. They're really popular style denim right now, and I was so tempted to get them, but I just could not justify the price. And I know I've said this a million times, and everyone else who thrifts knows this, but the prices at major thrift store corporations like Value Village and Goodwill have just gotten seriously out of hand. My experience is that Value Village is much higher priced than the Goodwill though, which I did end up going to Goodwill after this on this same day, and I didn't film it because honestly, I was kind of feeling defeated and feeling like I wasn't going to find much, but spoiler alert, I did end up finding a lot, and I will show you in the haul at the end. For now, let me show you a couple things I tried on and didn't get. This little stripy top I thought was so cute. I love the colorway, I love the cut of it, except the length. It's just like a hair too long, and I would love to hem it, but I kind of don't want to give myself another project right now. I wanted so badly to love this, but the cut was just not there. It was also like heavily polyester and definitely fast fashion of some kind. The drawstring was really bugging me, and I just didn't like the fit of it, but there's potential there, so I'm holding out hope for something similar in my future. Back from the thrift store, or should I say thrift stores, I did end up going on 3 separate thrift trips for this video. And then I also actually did a little bit of online shopping as well. So I'll include those pieces in the haul. This theme for thrifting was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And it's funny too, because in the past, the pieces that I have found were so easy to find. Like they kind of just came to me by really briefly going down those aisles and hardly looking for them. Maybe I'm just really late to the trend and it's already picked over. I don't know. It was just, I had such a hard time finding it. And it wasn't that the sections were really even that picked over or sparse. They were pretty dense, just with like more modern stuff. I'm just gonna kind of go in order of category, but I'll let you know like where everything is from and how much it was and that sort of thing. We'll start with some accessories. And I found this bag at Goodwill. This is actually a handmade bag. It's a little bit wrinkled just from being in the bag, but I plan to stuff it and really bring it back to life. You could tell it's handmade because it has the like wooden block bottom, and it also does say on the inside, handmade by, what's her name? It looks like her name was Renee.
I can't read the rest of it. It's really worn off. It looks to be vintage in that way too, and handmade. Such a sucker for anything that has studded detail like this. I think it's so good, and I love that it's a brass and then a silver tone. It has these nice solid pockets on both sides, and then look at the strap. It's like that wire cording, and it has a plastic tube. It feels really industrial and cool. It's even held together by like some nuts and bolts here. Like it feels very industrial and repurposed, which I love. The other thing that's really cool too, on this side it's grommets, and then on this side it's studs here at the top, and these are actually snap closures. This was from Goodwill, like I said, and it was $5.99. I would wear this casually and going out. It feels a little more special for going out, but it's also a cool contrast for more casual outfits, you know? The other bag I got is from Value Village. When I saw this, I hadn't been planning on looking for a bag like this, which it's actually a backpack. I hadn't been planning on looking for that, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for to complete these outfits, especially as a day-to-day bag. When I was a kid, my mom had a bag like this, and she would kind of sling it over her shoulder. I think it was black, but this one is dark brown, and it just really reminded me of my mom. And now that I'm a mom, it just feels like something that I needed to have. This is by the brand up here at the top, Villager. It's a Liz Claiborne company, I guess. And the leather is a little bit worn, but that makes me like it even more. The pockets are great. Has this like nice side pocket, so when you're slinging it over your shoulder, you can easily get to stuff. It has the zipper, so you could easily turn this into one strap and make it like a crossbody one strap. This was $7.99, which compared to the other bags I was finding at Value Village, because there were some pretty good ones that I showed, but they all had a little damage to them or imperfections, and then they were priced like at a minimum of $20, which is just crazy. This is so good. This is definitely going to go into my little arsenal of day-to-day bags. I did take a peek in the jewelry section. I found these vintage clip-on earrings. As I get older, I feel more and more compelled to lean into a clip-on or screw-back earring. My first piercing hole here is definitely getting a little bit worn out, so I love having this as another option. I used to wear dangly earrings every day for every occasion, and I kind of slowed off of that. It wasn't even necessarily because it became trendy to wear like more dainty jewelry. I think it was more so once I had kids and my babies were grabbing at my ears that I was like, okay, I can't function like this. Now that they're not babies anymore and not reaching for my ears, I feel a little bit more comfortable getting back to my roots, if you will. But anyways, these are actually signed, and I'm gonna have to do like a Google reverse search on that because I cannot for the life of me read it. So I'll look it up. But anyway, they have a good weight to them. They're not super, super heavy. I do have earrings on, so this is gonna look a little weird, but not so heavy that they're gonna like pull on my ears. They definitely have an 80s like fancy lady quality to them, and I like that it's almost like a matte silver tone. I thought those were cute, and those were $4.99 at Value Village. The other pair of clip-ins I got were these ones, which I thought were really interesting. I have a feeling, I don't know why, but I feel like they came from the same owner. They were like right next to each other. Also a silver tone. These are not signed, but just like such a unique shape. And again, like definitely very 80s, but they looked like a seashell to me. And if you know me, you know that I like to do a little clip-on used as a pendant for necklaces. And these ones specifically would be so cool. It could almost look like a little bolo tie situation there. And you could do it the other way too, like this, and kind of have them face out. Oh, and these were $6.99. I don't know why those were more expensive, but I didn't ask any questions. Lastly, for accessories, I found this sweet little choker. Again, that matte silver on this. I thought that was just so pretty. And it's done in such a pretty way with this necklace. It doesn't feel cheap, which I feel like it could easily feel cheap. It does have a little signature as well right here on the little charm, which I can't read either, but anyway, it has these little like
silver droplets and then the white shells, and it's like a double stacked choker style, and I love the sound it makes. I love jewelry that makes this kind of sound, just really dainty, lovely sounds like this. I could see this being the perfect accessory with like a white t-shirt and a good pair of flared jeans and cowboy boots, leaning into that like 90s minimalism, whatever, but then like having a pop of me with my obnoxious necklace. Oh, this was also from Value Village and it was $6.99. I definitely was way more successful in the top department than I was bottoms. This top I actually got on Whatnot. This was just the perfect, true sporty style top. Chicago Cubs, Girls Club. It's a youth large, so I do believe it was like a little girl's shirt, but I like the way it fits. I was debating cutting the bottom just slightly because I do want just a slightly more cropped fit, but I love the contrast stitching there, so I would want to make sure I replicate that if I did end up cropping it. Love the 3/4 length sleeves. This color honestly isn't my most favorite color. I probably would have preferred more of like a deep navy in this case, but it doesn't bother me. And I think this with a pair of jeans will be cute regardless. Love the little pop of red with the Cubs logo there. It's genuine merchandise, 100% cotton. I do feel like it is from the early 2000s, but I don't know for sure. I did end up getting the Lobos sweatshirt. It's an old school JanSport tag, and it is this like incredible, I don't know if it's coming off on the camera very well. I was reviewing the footage from the thrift store and I feel like it was hard to see. But anyway, you can tell that this was like a true cherry red, and now it has this like really, really good even fade to it into this like persimmon color. It's so nice. I don't know if it's necessarily my color, but I enjoy wearing it anyway. Especially again, like I didn't want to lean too hard into the blacks and whites and navy that definitely fit this aesthetic. I wanted it to feel like me. It has the embroidered varsity letters. They're pilling, but that's an easy fix. It's otherwise in really good condition. Honestly, hardly looks worn other than the fact that it's got this really good fade to it. Like it was washed 100 times, but still in incredible construction condition. I didn't end up finding the Gap hoodies that I was hoping for, but this is such a similar vibe. These varsity letters are really similar, obviously, to the Gap logo. It's not a hoodie, but I love the idea of layering it with a hood. Even like with the little zip up I'm wearing right now, these two colors are pretty nice together. I think that could look really cute, and just like having another pop of color come out, or even with a white hoodie, whatever, could be so good. I am not familiar with the Lobos, but I did look it up. I believe it's for the University of New Mexico, but I could be wrong on that. So if you do know, please let me know so I don't feel like a complete poser wearing this. And this was only $6.49. Again, compared to the rest of the sweatshirts I was finding, which were like all modern Nikes and Adidas that you could find at TJ Maxx for $20, were all like $20 at the thrift store. So this was a really good deal. Another sweatshirt, this one's from Goodwill, and this is the brand Fila. This is a much more shrunken, fitted sweatshirt. I immediately knew this a style that I would wear a lot. I could just tell it was gonna fit nice. It is an early 2000s Fila. It's an 80 cotton, 20 poly blend. I like the heather gray. I like that the logo is just like a nice little tiny pop there in the corner, and it looks a little bit worn. It's not like perfectly fresh and new. I think to me that's an important part of shopping for this aesthetic. I don't want to look like shiny and new because I'm not trying to look like a professional athlete. This was from Goodwill, and this was only $1.99. I like how it's kind of shrunken and fits almost just like a regular long sleeve. The only thing that I would change about it is that I do prefer a much more pale and light colored gray, but regardless, I think I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of it. I don't know very much about this brand, Blogilates. I've seen Mia Maples, I think, make videos about her stuff and her collections. This designer, Cassie Ho, very intentional about her designs. All of them seem to solve some sort of problem with traditional athletic wear, and so I think that's really cool. I've never bought anything new from her lines, but like I said, I have seen it. And this I found at Value Village
Goodwill, and it was only $1.97. The perfect shade of pink for me, in my opinion. I love the boat neck style. I think that's still so trendy. And then the cross back, it feels very ballerina. I said I wasn't really looking for any like skin tight, true athletic tops like this, but I saw it and I had to have it. I would just wear this as a top in the summertime with capris, and it would be so cute. Less than $2 for a brand new. That's the other thing. It still had its tags on it. And I can wear it to work out in if I wanted to, obviously, because it is athletic material. It's got a nice almost cotton feel to it. It actually doesn't have a material tag, which is interesting. But it does have removable pads in it as well. So you don't have to wear a bra with it. This, obviously, with a pair of capris, jeans, even with the athletic pants, I feel like this is feminine enough in the way that it is constructed. It wouldn't make me feel like I'm being too much of a poser in this aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? So I love that. I thought that was such a good find. Also at Goodwill, it's another modern piece, which is funny. I didn't think I'd be picking up any modern pieces in this, but anyway, it's from the brand YPB, Your Personal Best, which is the athletic wear line from Abercrombie. It's this white little athletic dress. I have been wanting an athletic dress with the built-in shorts and whatever for so long. I know that like a few years back, Halara was everywhere with those, and I don't know why I just never pulled the trigger on one. It's definitely something I would wear frequently. I still don't think I would buy one new, but I've never found one at a thrift store, surprisingly. Maybe it's just because people really are still wearing theirs. But I found this one, and the white color was throwing me a little bit. Also, it's a size small, and usually for something like this, especially like with a bodysuit, I would do a medium. So I was kind of like, I don't know if it's gonna fit. And also, if I were to choose a color, I don't know that I would have chosen white. My Goodwill actually has dressing room, so I was actually able to put it on my body. It fit me great. I also had tried it on with the Fila sweatshirt, and there was just something so classic 90s about having that little athletic skirt poke through. It's also just like a cute white dress on its own, obviously. I mean, I think that is sort of the appeal of these athletic dresses, right? Is that they can be dressed up and dressed down and are just really versatile that way. So it's the YPB Sculpt Luxe, and it was only $7.99 at Goodwill. I did end up picking up the little candy stripe top from Value Village. This was $6.99 by the brand Appleseeds. It's 100% cotton. It's like that great boat neck cut that is so classic 90s. It even has 3/4 length sleeves, or kind of like floodsy sleeves. They're a little bit longer than 3/4 length. I was really hesitant about this one, again, for the length. I was planning on putting it back, but I kept seeing it in my cart and thinking like, no, like I would reach for that. I don't want to put it back. So that tells me that I should get it. I was just really trying to be picky about the tops. And I know that if the length really, really bothers me, I can always cut it myself and sew it. Like I can do that. Anyway, the colors in it I thought were great. I'm trying to go for more lower contrast clothing. Although I am so drawn to black and white stripes or black and white polka dots, I feel like when it's on me, it just doesn't translate as well because I'm just a lower contrast person, color theory and all of that. So I'm trying to transition away a little bit from it, but also I still like it. Although this is still, there's a lot of contrast and it's a pretty busy pattern, I feel like it complements me a little bit better than like a severe, real black and white stripe. You know what I'm saying? The colors in it are great. There's like a sky blue, a teal, a navy blue, a pink. This would pair well with a lot of the athletic track pants and everything that's in style, but I also just like it with jeans, and it kind of stands alone as a statement piece because it's so patterned. If nothing else, I like the fabric and I will use it for something else. Another Whatnot purchase, actually these next two tops are both from the same seller on Whatnot. I'll put it on the screen. I am such a sucker for Snoopy. Anytime I see vintage Snoopy specifically, I really have to try to restrain myself from buying it because I don't necessarily need a lot of Snoopy stuff, you know, like 1 or 2 things is good. But I kind of let loose with this one. It's 2004. It's Peanuts 2004. It's 100% cotton. This bright pink with the black trim and then these little Joe Cool Snoopy graphic. And
It is dead stock or new with tags, technically. I love buying a piece that's like dead stock or still has the tags on it and saving those tags, and this is such a good tag. It's a really cute little cropped fit. Now, is this my preferred colorway? No, like no, but I'm happy to have it in my collection. If nothing else, I'll just put it on Depop or something eventually, but I think it's kind of fun and I could see myself attempting to style it this spring. It's definitely a little outside of the rest of the haul though. From the same seller, I got this, which is a little bit more on the money. It's by the brand New York & Company, 100% cotton. Definitely a Y2k piece. I feel like I may have even owned this when I was a kid in some capacity. I could just tell this was gonna have the most perfect fit. Again, that fitted fit that's not skin tight. It kind of like hangs off the body and drapes in a really nice way. Just like the perfect t-shirt, and it's that really nice thick knit. The classic American flag logo I feel like was really trendy back then. Although I would not say that my style tends to be very patriotic, like I don't wear a lot of American flags, but there's been sort of this movement that I've seen on TikTok and Instagram of people saying like, we should be taking back the flag, like we should be wearing the flag and showing our patriotism when we're showing up to protests, when we're just living our daily lives and exemplifying what we think it means to be American. So not to get super deep, but this is a pretty deep time, honestly, and fashion is pretty political, honestly. In the past, I would have not at all been interested in this, and although I'm not necessarily trying to make the biggest political statement by buying this and wearing this, it's just something in the back of my mind that I've been thinking about, and I think it's interesting. So who knows if I'll be brave enough to wear it. Isn't that funny? Like, why do I have to feel brave to wear an American flag t-shirt? That's crazy. But that's kind of how I feel. So anyway, moving on. I also got this from Whatnot. It's by the brand Cub, and it's definitely vintage with this really old made in USA tag. It's 100% cotton. I'm assuming it's probably 90s. It's a really great dark wash denim, and it has just the coolest fitted structure to it. I was obviously looking more for like track jackets and kind of sportier things, kind of like what I'm wearing with a hood and a double zipper. That's the vibe I was more leaning toward, but I saw this and I thought it would go perfectly, especially for spring. I don't really own very many jean jackets anymore, like classic jean jackets, because I had gotten so sick of them. But something about this one and the fit of it, I could tell was gonna fit really nicely in my collection. I love that the buttons are silver, and again, it's like that matte silver. Jean jackets with silver are not always the easiest to find. I feel like a lot of times they have a brassier button that kind of blends in with the threading, and this can be worn as a top or obviously as a jacket too. This with my Adidas track pants would be so cute and such an easy, effortless outfit. I actually have a skirt to talk about. Although there were some skirts I pinned, it wasn't really my main focus right now, but I saw this skirt. This is what is this? Oh yeah, chaps. Black denim skirt. I think it's intended to be more lower rise. This little D-ring here on the belt loop is everything to me. I think that's such a cool detail. Makes it a little more edgy and cool, but not in a super in-your-face way, which is how I like to do edgy. Even though this isn't an athletic wear piece, it definitely leans into like the 90s Y2k trend that I'm after. One thing about me is that I love belts and I love the way they are styled on other people, but I do not like to wear them. I really am at a place where they're not my favorite accessory to actually put on my body. And I know that that's such a big part of especially the 90s minimalistic look, like a classic jean with a nice leather belt and a button-down shirt or just a t-shirt. It's such a beautiful look. It's not for me. So having something on the waistband like this makes me feel like I don't have to add a belt to have some sort of detail going on at the waistline. Makes me really happy. Last and definitely not least, because I was actually really excited about finding these, they're a pair of Y2k plug jeans. They're a cotton rammy spandex blend. They have that really good stretch to them, kind of a lighter wash, and then they have this really fun detail at the knees. They're a flare leg. They're a low rise. They have a cool pocket and little belt loop details. Kind of exactly what I was looking for. Kind of leaning into that like campy Y2k style, but in a subtle way that doesn't feel too out of my comfort zone. I like that the belt loops kind of speak for themselves and provide that interest at the waist so that I don't feel compelled or feel unfinished without a belt. You know what I'm saying? These were $6.49. Just a little bit of spotting at the hem, but I mean, it's a miracle these didn't fall victim to the rain and the slush like so many other flared jeans from this era did, you know? All right, that is everything, and it was a much bigger haul than I really even thought it was. Oh, and I did find a pair of athletic pants that really fit my criteria. I didn't necessarily have a colorway in mind, but I really didn't want to do another navy or black because I already have that. I wanted something with a little more color variation to it, and so I ended up buying these ones from eBay. They're like a dark brown with a light blue stripe through them, and they're like that cotton spandex that I was talking about. And they're a flare leg, and they're vintage. So I'm excited for those, but they're taking kind of a long time to ship, honestly. They're just not here yet. So I'll just kind of splice in a little clip. Anyway, it's so good to be back. Thank you for being here. Subscribe if you want to see more thrifting content. If you're new here, I do a lot of thrifted content, but I also have dabbled in sewing, styling videos, and trend videos in general. I have been gone for a couple months for health-related reasons, but I'm back. I have so many ideas, and I'm so excited for the year ahead. The week that I'm filming this was my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, and I'm just so happy for the growth that I've had in my community over the last year. There are definitely a few of you that have been around since the very beginning, like my very first videos, and I just treasure you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.